Alright, I went ahead and mounted the motor back up on this for a minute. So it's about, it's pretty close to where it was before. And what I have is a stick. What I did was, I went across the pulley, and you can see, well, that's a heck of a difference there. Let me get a tape measure real quick. If it's moving, I apologize, you're hanging out on the door. So just using the flat face of this, I am about an inch off the face of that pulley. Well, I don't think that's going to work too good. So we're going to go ahead and reposition this. Let's see. Let's see if that's any closer. Oh, we got a ways to go still. Big booger of weld on there. There we go. So with that, I am almost touching right there. Sorry about the bouncing. So I'm almost touching right there. And I think the reason they had it pulled back is because this cable here is almost hitting the muffler. So I think we're going to pull the muffler off real quick and take a look and see if we can reconfigure that a little bit. Or if maybe just taking this cover off will make a difference so that we can close this gap here. Comes out nicely. Yeah, I thought so. 2 screws on the back also. Let's see if by some happenstance okay, they run the fuel. They run the evap line through the air filter housing. That's an interesting way to do it. No, I'm going to have to go manual with this one. And let's see if I can get this with a stubby now. There. It's just a cover. Let's see if that gives me the room I need. Oh yeah. Should definitely fit now. right about there. Makes it close. Don't necessarily like this, blowing right into that beam. Is there a way to turn that around? Don't think so. Not without some significant work. All right. Well, we got other fish to fry. We're not going to worry about that. We know it'll fit. That's what's important. So to keep stuff from getting into the engine. Don't worry, it's not me. I haven't done anything wrong in at least 10 minutes and got caught. Yeah, I'm going to put these screws back in though. Probably should have done that before I put the top back on, huh? Yeah, well, it ain't perfect. What can I say? Putting these back in because for some odd reason I'm pretty sure that this shell is part of the exhaust, and if I leave these off, I'm just going to have hot exhaust blowing out these little holes. Yep. The infamous right angle drill bit that comes in just about every screwdriver kit you got that you never use. Alright, I'm laughing because I was sitting here cutting the weld on the backside. Well, it wasn't even stuck. You see where I was cutting it? Literally, that weld just fell off. Brilliant. Good quality there. Alright, let's get this cleaned up a little. you've got an idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and trim this back a little bit. Alright, I've got this cleaned up somewhat. And let's see here. It's never good at it using calipers. Looks like we're at five millimeters. Yep, 5 millimeters. All right, so the original plate was 5 millimeters. Say millimeters because it was made in China. Well, apparently this chunk of the old Rubicon skid plate was also made in China because that is 5 millimeters as well. So we're going to start with getting a straight edge on this. Relatively speaking, it's not going to be too straight. I'm cutting it with an angle grinder. Why am I cutting it with an angle grinder? Well, I don't have, well, I have plenty of uses for a plasma cutter, but I don't have the funding for a plasma cutter. So we're using what we got, which is a 4.5-inch angle grinder. That's probably going to run out of battery about a quarter of the way through this project. So yeah, I'm going to follow this lip right along here, cut this off to give me a flat edge, because I got enough space here to mount the engine, and this is about as wide from right about here to here as the plate needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and give that a cut. Once I've cut that, I'll show you what we're going to do after that. I put this cross brace back in, which by the way was installed incorrectly. It was actually underneath here. It was actually bolted underneath, so I moved it back up to where it was supposed to be. I put a couple spacers in there, and then I clamped it in because if you remember, I kind of have a jagged edge here. Well, I clamped it down and hit it with some spray paint, some white spray paint. So hopefully I have an outline of what I need to cut out. Let's see how this works. There we go. That's what I need to cut out. Now that is not exact, by the way. And I have more I have to cut out of it. That is just to get me roughed in to where I need to be. What we're going to also have to do before we put that on there, we're going to have to extend these supports out and build a whole new one for here, because when I put this in, we're going to put it in and then we're going to weld the entire thing in to make it a nice smooth surface, in theory. There's only one way to find out. Alright, I got into this more and realized I needed to add some support to this so that I have a better idea of where everything's going to lie. So I basically took the offcut, just gave it a little bevel so that I got a little bit of space around this bar, and well, we just went ahead and tacked it in place. I did that way I have something as a guide to cut my horizontal on the actual piece that's going to fit in there. And well, I got to do one for the other side also, and that one's going to probably require a plug weld because I don't really have a good spot to weld it to. Talking this one. But we're going to do that one in a minute. Ideally, if I had a finger brake or a press brake, or you know something for my there's a lot of metal tools I don't have that I would like, but I don't need them right now. We got other stuff we can work with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to match up my plate and do some more cutting. Actually, no, it's 9 o'clock. Baby's gone to bed. Worry about this at a later time.